What is going on, guys? So I'm coming at you with another awesome video with some Army recruiters, and we're going to be talking about something that I want you guys to actually really understand and know, and that is how to get the most out of your first time talking with an Army recruiter. Alright, so a lot of you are kind of maybe scared of talking to a recruiter. You don't know what to do. When you walk into that recruiter's office and you're going to talk to this guy right here, he's got his uniform on and everything, like you're nervous, you don't know what to say, you don't know what to ask, you don't know how to prepare. And I kind of wanted to clear the air with that. There's a lot of you out there who really don't know what to expect. You don't know how to prepare and how to get the most out of talking to your recruiter and how to let them know how they can best help you, because that's going to be really, really important. Like how you kind of convey what you want to do in the military to them is going to help them a lot in the whole process of getting you what you want. So Sergeant First Class Dimsdale, he's going to kind of explain his thoughts on this whole process.
All right, so the big thing we look at is none of us woke up one day and went, hey, I'm going to join the Army. You know, there's some people that make the decision pretty quickly, but there's things and thoughts that have gone through your head up until that point where you either call or walk into a recruiting office. So all those thoughts that you had, all those Google searches you did, all those questions you asked your great uncle Bob, who was in the Army 20 years ago, you need to write those things down and ask us. But the big thing is, while the answers out there on the internet are a good source of the initial kind of thought process, it's not always the most up to date, okay? So write down your questions and come ask us. If you don't think that the answer sounds right, go ask another recruiter, you know? Not every recruiter is trying to lie to you, okay? A lot of times we have new recruiters out here that just don't know any better. If it doesn't sound right, ask, okay?
Yeah, that's something really important, you know. Fact check your recruiter, I guess you could say. If, like you said, if he says something and you're like, that sounds too good to be true, you know, you could look that up. You could ask another recruiter, maybe another recruiter in the office or something, maybe has an experience or something that could help out. But there's nothing wrong with, I don't know, asking somebody else's opinion, right?
Yeah, exactly. We're never going to intentionally lie or mislead you. The big thing is sometimes we just don't know any better, or we didn't completely understand your questions. So make sure if you write them down ahead of time and come in. I love when applicants walk in and hey, do you have any questions? And they pull a sheet of paper out and they start going down the line, because that makes our job easier. Help us help you, okay? Know what you're coming in for, know what you want to ask, and let us know when we talk on the phone. If you're a walk-in, this doesn't really apply. But if we meet you out at the mall or you call our office and we set up an appointment for a later time frame, you know, usually the next 48 to 72 hours, make sure that you tell us those questions or why you want to join first. That way we can prepare for you coming in. Because we don't like coming in and just giving a cookie cutter interview to everybody, okay? I want to personalize your experience because this is your first step into starting a career with the Army. So if you know that you're coming in because you want college benefits or you want a certain career or certain opportunities, let us know that so we can have that information prepped for you.
And it speaks to something I say, like, know why you want to join, and if you can convey to them why you want to join, that's going to make everything a lot better. They're going to be able to answer your questions a lot better.
All right, one other thing we want to cover is those war stories you get from great Uncle Bob and from your best friend who did, you know, 3 years overseas, you know, a decade ago. If you're asking your friends, obviously you're going to trust them a lot more than you trust us because you don't have that rapport with us yet. But always take everything that anyone says, including the recruiters, with a grain of salt, because your experience in the Army is going to be different than my experience. It's going to be different than Matt's experience. It's going to be different than great Uncle Bob's experience. So ask your questions, but again, like he said, fact check it. Make sure it's actually going to apply to you.
All right, so something that I've mentioned in past videos or live streams and things like that is that when you go into a recruiter's office, if you are, you know, kind of dead set on a specific MOS, or you want to ask questions about a specific job, and you don't know what that recruiter that you're talking to, what is his MOS? What was his prior experience in the military? Did he have multiple MOSs throughout his career? Asking him what his experience was in the military, what was his MOS, or maybe some other recruiters in the office, have any of them basically been, like, if you want to be a Cav Scout, has anybody in the office been a Cav Scout or known or experienced being in a unit with or working with other guys that have the MOS that you want? I think that's really important to basically figure out what your experience is. Oh my gosh, you have the same MOS that I want, which would work out really great, or somebody else in the office does.
All right, absolutely. Ask your recruiter what they did and who they worked with, okay? Because my experience, I was a tanker for 11 years before becoming a recruiter. All right, guys on my team here are mostly combat arms, and we've worked with a lot of different MOSs, but I honestly have no idea what it means to be a biomedical equipment technician. All right, so let your recruiters know what you are interested in, and ask them what their experience is. Now, I'm not saying just because they were a scout and you want to be an infantryman to go find an infantry recruiter. Okay,
Yeah.
Trust your recruiter. Let them know what you want to do, but ask them, hey, do you have anybody else I can talk to? Just get an idea of what this job is about, because just because my office doesn't have it, I guarantee give me an hour and I can find somebody that was in that MOS that can tell you what the day-to-day job entails.
All right, so in addition to what we're talking about here, sometimes people will come in here, they're kind of stuck on this one MOS and what they want. What happens if that's not available?
So, like we said in the previous video, we're talking about enlisted eligibility. We're looking at two things. Eligibility and availability. Okay, just because you're eligible for the MOS doesn't mean the MOS is going to be available. All right, it's a live system we're using to pull jobs. Okay, the jobs change daily. Sometimes we just have to wait a day or two. Sometimes we go 6 months without seeing job seats open. All right, so if what you want is not there, be flexible. Be a little bit patient with your recruiter as we try to find a job that's good for you. Because ultimately, you pick your job before you sign your contract. You pick it. We're never going to tell you, hey, this is the job you're doing. But, you don't want to kick that ball down the road a couple months, 2-3 months, and then next thing you know, you're waiting for a job that never come available, and now you're no longer eligible because you got in a car accident, you broke your leg, something like that happened where now you can't join at all. But by all means, don't join into a job you're going to be miserable in, because I don't want you spending 2 or 3 years in the Army, getting out, and then being that disgruntled veteran that's saying, oh, my recruiter lied to me. Wait for something that you're happy with, but don't wait so long for one particular job that may or may not open.
Yeah, that's a really good point. You definitely don't want to do something that you're going to hate, right? If you want to do something in the medical field and maybe it's not available right now, then maybe you could wait a little bit. For me, whenever I first enlisted, I wanted to be a 25 Bravo. That was what I wanted to be. When I first went into a recruiter's office, it wasn't available, right? It wasn't available. I came back, I can't remember now because it's been a while. I came back, it was like a day or two later, and then it was available. And then I locked down that MOS. So it's okay to wait a little bit. And then also be honest with yourself. Like, how bad do you want that MOS? Or is there another one that you could potentially get? Because they're not lying to you by saying that MOS isn't available right now. They're not, right? So you have to be honest with yourself. Am I okay with having this other MOS right now? If not, then you can wait a little bit. But again, it's all you being honest with yourself, being honest with them about what you want to do. Because, for me, like, if you really are dead set on, like, you want to do this and nothing else, I think that's something that they should know. And whether or not they should be wasting their time trying to find all these other things for you, when for you it's just this or nothing. So being honest with them, being honest with yourself, I think is going to be really important to help you guys kind of get the most out of the whole recruiting experience, get the most out of your recruiters.
Yeah, and that goes back to what we were talking about earlier with, like you said, being honest with us, but also knowing why you're joining. If you're joining, so you wanted to be a 25 Bravo, so that's an information technology specialist, right? If you want to work in that career field after the Army, then absolutely you want the job resume experience from that MOS. But if you're joining the Army for college benefits or for just bettering your life or saying you did something with your life, then do you really need to be a 25 Bravo? Would you rather wait 6 months for that seat to open, or maybe we get you into a signal support specialist job, which is very, very similar? Or even if it's completely left field, as long as it's a job that you can be happy with, take a short contract, and then when your first contract's up, you can switch your MOS. Now, there is always variables that go into whether you can switch down the road or not. I'm not going to lie about that. It matters with, what you're eligible for and what's available at that time as well. But I've personally known people that have held 4 or 5 different MOSs across their time in the Army, so you can switch down the road.
Alright, so that's going to be it for this video. I thought it was a pretty good one, pretty interesting, and very informative for all of you guys out there. But if you guys want to hit them up, if you're in the Huntersville area, make sure you guys check them out in the description. There's going to be all their social media links and stuff down below. So if you're in this area, make sure you guys check them out. And if you haven't hit the like button on this video, hit that like button. That would be freaking awesome. If you want to stick around some more of my videos, hit the subscribe button. That would be even better. Hit the notification bell button if you want to check out the rest of our videos that we're doing. If you haven't checked out the other Army Recruiter videos or even some videos in the future that we might do, make sure you hit that notification bell button so you know when that's going down. Follow me on Instagram and Snapchat if you haven't already. I hope you guys have an amazing freaking day, and I will see you later.